Hello. In this video, I'm going to be going over this argumentative/research paper PowerPoint. This says chapters 11 through 19. That is incorrect. It's chapters 6 and 7 in your new textbook. So, I don't think this PowerPoint is super long. Oh, 18 slides, so it is kind of long. Well, we'll get through it. So this is going to be for this last essay that we're writing. It is an argument/research paper. You're going to be doing research, but you will also be making an argument. So let's look at what that should look like. So argument at its core, it's really easy. You know, we all have opinions about things, and in this paper you're going to get to argue your opinion. You won't be able to use I or you, but your thesis statement will be your central argument, and then you will spend your body paragraphs supporting and proving your argument. Some characteristic features of an argumentative essay are an explicit position. So this is where there's no hem-hawing around. You have to be really upfront with where you stand on your issue. Like I said just a second ago, your position on whatever your topic is your thesis statement. So for example, if I was going to write, and I will use this example over and over again, if I was going to write about climate change, my thesis could be climate change is a real phenomenon that can be seen in weather patterns across the globe, the melting of the ice caps, and in other areas of scientific data. And then my body paragraphs would go on to give examples of each of these points. But my position is clearly stated here. Global warming or climate change is a real thing, and then I tell you what I'm going to be talking about that proves that it is a real thing. So that's a good thesis statement for an argumentative essay. Also, with argumentative essays, we need to keep in mind that this is also a response to what others have said or done. This essay is part of a larger conversation. I talked about this a little in the first week of class, but you may need to address articles and or people who disagree with you within your body paragraphs. And this is part of where research comes in, because you're going to be researching looking for facts and figures and statistics that agree with you, and you're also going to be maybe looking for people who disagree with you, because it's important to understand the other side of an argument, because you want to listen to understand first and then respond. So you want to get the other side of the argument, really take in what other people are saying about it, people who disagree with you, and then you can come and look at it from your perspective and maybe see why you think those people are wrong. Or maybe they make some really good points, you never know. So you may also need to respond to those people who disagree with you. In this example, I might address climate change deniers and things like that. Also, in an argumentative essay, you may need some background information. We're not going to have a lot of room for this in our paper, but background information is like historical background. Maybe if you're talking about something complicated, like climate change is a little bit complicated, I might need to put some definitions in there. Contextual knowledge, maybe it's important where this thing is happening. Things like that, just things to help your reader better understand the subject and the topic that you are talking about. Like I said, we won't have a whole lot of room for this in this essay, but in general, when you're doing research or making an argument, you want to have a good bit of background information. A really big thing for argument essays is, why does this matter? Who cares? You have to answer that question. You have to tell your reader why this topic is important and why should they be motivated to listen to you, to do anything that you say about this topic. Why should your reader care about the topic? Also, in an argument essay, you need good reasons and evidence. Your book says positions are only as good as the reasons and evidence that support them. So part of every author's task in arguing a position is to provide the strongest possible reasons for the position and evidence for those reasons. So in other words, you have to back up what you say. Okay? You could be the most trustworthy person on the planet, but your reader's not going to know that. So what you need to do is back up what you say with data and proof. I said this is just like what we did with the compare contrast essay. We didn't do that essay. So basically you want to find, in my example of the global warming, I would want to find scientists, climate scientists, other types of scientists, maybe like oceanographers, to talk about how the ocean is changing and things like that. You want to find people who are experts in your field. We'll talk about this a little later, but good reasons mean you want to find experts in your field who have facts, statistics, data that back up what you are saying. You also need an authoritative tone. You have to know what you're talking about and act like you know what you're talking about. I've put this a few times in different people's essays. Don't eliminate I think, I feel, I believe. Eliminate that from your vocabulary. It weakens your argument. It makes you sound unsure. So just say what you have to say like it's fact and then prove it. So I wouldn't say like, I think that climate change is real, or I believe that climate change is real. No, I'm just going to say climate change is real. That's my thesis, and then my body paragraphs are going to show you the facts, the figures, the statistics, the testimony from experts that prove that climate change is real. Similarly, you'll do that with whatever your topic is. You also want to appeal to the reader's values. This is ethos, pathos, and logos. We're going to talk about that in another video, but you do want to make sure that you're appealing to the reader. This goes back to why they should care as well. So not only is this an argument essay, this is also a research essay. So there are a few things that we want to keep in mind with a research essay. The first one is that we want to find a topic that fascinates you. The last thing we want to do is spend these last 2 weeks of class researching something you don't care about. So pick something that you like to talk about and that you have a strong opinion about. It'll make writing a lot easier for you, and it'll make it more fun. We'll talk more about topics in another video. If you have several topics in mind, that's fine. Once you start narrowing them down, it may become clear which is best. Opposing Viewpoints in Context is a really great website to use, and I will show you where that is in the UAPTC databases video. Make sure your topic can be covered in the amount of pages given to you. In this case, it's 3 pages, so you don't want to necessarily tackle like a huge topic like all of climate change in that little of a space. So just make sure you're not picking like such a huge broad topic that there's no way you can cover it in 3 pages. And then you're going to want a thesis, and again, your thesis is your argument. It's the whole point of your essay, and it should convey your stance to the reader. So that is sort of what a argument research essay looks like. Those are some elements of it, some things that it needs. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Some of this information may become more clear, easier to understand in some of the rest of the videos. So I would encourage you to watch all of these videos, and then if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. All right, thank you guys.